Brands that are consistently well presented are 3 to 4 times more likely to enjoy really excellent brand visibility. McDonald's latest advert is just a big wash of red with one tiny little chicken nugget at the bottom of it, and whenever you see that, without even seeing their logo or any words with it, you know that's McD's. Or they're started to do home delivery. Their advert for that has been a picture of a house and a tiny little bit of the golden arch in behind that house just starting to peek out. So they don't even have to have their whole logo in it, just a tiny little bit. But that's because their branding is so recognizable because it's been so consistent across all the different touch points. Hi everybody, thanks for having me here today. My name's Ali. I head up a small team of creatives over at version 1. I'm not really used to being up at the front. This is one of my first public talks, so please help me out by joining in the conversations. Last time I was here, you guys were a really good group of interactive, talkative people, so please don't be shy this time round. There's no wrong answers. This talk is about branding, the brands that you admire, why you like them and what they make you feel. And this talk is just a broad overview of what brand is, what it isn't, and how you can effectively build either the brand of the company that you work for, or think about it from your own personal point of view as well. Each of you has your own personal brand, even if you don't quite realise that. So that's something you can also be thinking about building up. So let's jump into thinking about what separates a brand that earns loyalty from one that just takes up space on the market. So to try and get you all talking a little bit, please don't be shy, call stuff out. Put your hand up if you've ever chosen a brand over a cheaper competitor based purely on feeling. Oh great, anybody want to be brave and just yell out what that brand was and why you chose it?
Nike, just do it.
What was that, sorry?
Nike.
Nike, oh.
Just the slogan.
Yeah, from the slogan. Oh, there you go. The marketing's worked on that one. Well, I myself bought a Henry the Hoover for my new house. Not only because it got really good reviews, the new other people that used it. It has a super long extension cord on it. I can plug it in the bottom of the house. It goes all the way up the stairs around to the other side. Really good suction. But it's also bright red. It has a happy, smiley little face on it. It makes me happier doing my housework. It makes that thing a little bit easier. So that was something that I maybe based purely on feeling. Question number 2, put your hands up if a company's brand has influenced where you chose to work.
I worked in Apple.
Oh, you worked in Apple, oh, there you go. Well, I don't need to ask you then too much about what influenced that. I came into version 1 nearly 2 years ago now through a social value scheme. I came in through a hackathon. That was my first introduction to version 1 and a few other companies. I sat in the version 1 building, had a walk around, seen all the cool stuff that they had out, seen all the really nice work areas that they had out, but it was really all the staff that were there that were so enthusiastic, that were walking around talking to new people, that were obviously passionate about the work and all of that, that made me think I would really quite like to work here, and then made me start applying for jobs there. Put your hand up if you've ever told somebody about a brand unprompted just because you were such a fangirl about it, or boy. Oh great, anybody want to be brave and yell out what that brand was? Go on, I know you want to.
I can't remember what it was. One brand, but I can't remember what it was off the top of my head.
Well, I'll tell you about one of the ones that I have told people about in the last couple of weeks. It's a brand called Madlug. Anybody heard of that one? Oh yeah, make a difference luggage. I love it. If anybody here needs a bag or a rucksack, a backpack, anything like that, if you buy one, the company will also buy one and give it to a kid in care so that whenever they're moving between their houses, they don't have to pack up all their goods in a black plastic bin bag. They get like a really nice cool bag as well. So it gives that kid back some dignity, but also it takes the stigma out of it, because now if I see somebody with a Madlug bag, I'm not thinking, oh, there's a kid in care. I'm thinking, oh, there's somebody who's really like bought into the ethos of that company. So finally, hands up if you've ever avoided a brand just because it felt a bit off, even if you couldn't maybe quite put your finger on it, but you've just thought, no way, I'm not buying that. Anybody? Anybody want to tell me why? Can you think of one? Tesla? Okay. Any other ones? Maybe that's a controversial one. I guess I might avoid anything with a celebrity endorsement. I just don't like them. I think it's a cash grab. I don't think they have anything to do with the product. And maybe it's my age, but even the younger the influencer, the less likely I am to buy it. Like Venezuela, Fury is about to bring out a range of caravan cleaners, and there is no way you could get me to buy them, even if I had a caravan. There's no way. So let's think about what brand actually is. A brand is a set of expectations that you have of your customers, but also that they have of you. It's the memories that you've been making together over the years, if you're more of a longer running brand. It's the stories that you've been telling them, and it's the relationships that you've built up with them. And once you take all of those things and put them into a big melting pot, they account for a consumer's decision to choose one product or service over another. And you guys have just really all proven that, because all of your hands went up when I said, how does this feel? What did this brand say to you? It's not about what they cost, it's about what they feel. So let's think about what brand definitely isn't. Brand is definitely not your logo, which is probably what a lot of people think. It's also not your colour palette, your fonts, your brand guidelines that nobody reads or applies properly anyway. Those would be just the expressions of your brand. That's the tip of a very large branded iceberg. A lot of people, if you ask in your organisation across all the different departments, so what is brand? Can you tell me what our brand is? They'll go, oh, there it is at the bottom of the page. It's our logo. Do you want me to send it to you? I'm sure somebody can find it. But that's not what it is at all. So let's dispel that myth. It's not your colour palettes or your fonts, but it's also not just your flip books, the multiple PowerPoint decks that you probably have to do. It's not your brochures, your exhibitions, all the events that you attend. It's not even the social media posts, the podcasts that you speak on, the blogs that you write, or even the face-to-face conversations. Those would all really be known as more of your marketing touch points. But if you put all those into a big melting pot with other things like the promises you make for your customers and all the work that you produce for your customers, it's a mixture of all those things that give you this. Brand is a feeling that somebody gets whenever they interact with you. Sometimes that's before you've even spoken a word, and maybe slightly unsettlingly, sometimes before they've even hired you, they've maybe even formed an impression because of the brand that you have been putting out there, maybe unwittingly. So I know that you might be thinking, oh, she's talking about feelings, it's such a girly thing, it's really soft and fluffy around the edges, I hate that. But no, I have got some good stats to back this up to make it more serious. Brands that are consistently well presented are 3 to 4 times more likely to enjoy really excellent brand visibility. Whenever I'm thinking about that, I'm thinking of the likes of McDonald's. McDonald's latest advert is just a big wash of red with one tiny little chicken nugget at the bottom of it. And whenever you see that, without even seeing their logo or any words with it, you know that's McD's. Or they're started to do home delivery. Their advert for that has been a picture of a house and a tiny little bit of the golden arch in behind that house just starting to peek out. So they don't even have to have their whole logo in it, just a tiny little bit. But that's because their branding is so recognisable, because it's been so consistent across all the different touch points. 400 companies surveyed reported a massive 20% revenue uplift whenever their brand was applied consistently across all the touch points. That's absolutely massive. If you could get even close to a 20% revenue uplift, you would be getting a mega promotion in work. But finally, 73% of consumers say the brand experience shapes loyalty ahead of price. Most of us will stay with a product or a service provider if we really buy into their ethos, like Madlug. If they've been really excellent in their delivery, giving you really brilliant customer service, if they've went above and beyond to do something for you, or even just if they do a lot of good in the world, you want to buy into that, and that's why you would go back to that brand over and over as opposed to price. So let's look at a couple of brands. Apple, I'll be looking at you for all my answers here. So what do you feel? Anybody can shout out some words here. What do you feel whenever you open an Apple box compared to just any generic laptop or phone?
Quality.
Quality, yeah. Any other ones? It can just be a feeling that it generates within you.
Just feels like a premium experience.
It does. Well, there's 2 words, like premium and an experience.
Consistency.
Pardon?
Consistency.
Yeah, consistency, yeah, like that picture at the bottom there. All those products are just really beautiful in their simplicity. Every one of them matches in with another one. But where I feel like Apple really competes is on feeling. It's beautiful in its simplicity. It is premium technology, but really ahead of all of that technology, they seem to put the user at the front and centre of that. They want to make all their products really intuitive, that they work seamlessly together with all the other products. People even take videos of themselves unboxing and then like talk about, oh, like look at this, you know, The instruction manual isn't just flung on the top and then the box sealed up. Instead, they've built a little bit specially into that box for that instruction manual to go. And I bet if anybody here has an iMac or an iPhone, that you probably, like me, still have the box off it, like tucked away in the top of your wardrobe, because you just can't really bear to throw it away. But where Apple really wins is in having a sense of community. People like to refer to themselves as Apple users, and that's because that signals to other people that you maybe have good taste, a high level of creativity, and that you're successful in your career, or at least that's what I like to think Apple users think about themselves. I wanted to look at a local brand next, Guinness. So yes, it's uniquely smooth with a very distinctive taste, but what would make you buy a Guinness at the pub instead of another stout like Murphy's or Belfast Black? Why would you choose a Guinness? Or if you had a visitor over, why would you say, let me buy you a Guinness? You can just shout out answers.
It's
The
everywhere.
original?
Yeah,
History.
yeah, the history, the heritage, it's the original. Anything else?
Authenticity.
Yeah, it's a really authentic one. I'd noted that down as well. Whenever I started to look into Guinness a little bit, I learned that they also use nitrogen as well as CO2. Other brands just use CO2, and this produces much smaller bubbles, which gives you that creamier head, the heaviness and the smoother texture in your mouth. But there's also that real sense of theatre as you're pouring the Guinness into your glass and you're watching that black liquid sort of cascade down into the pint glass. There's also the part that you have to wait for it. You have to do it in 2 stages. So there's a bit of theatre about it, but it's worth the wait at the end. I think you were talking about authenticity or identity. It has a really strong Irish identity. It's not like your sort of plastic patty brands that are trying to call themselves Irish but aren't really. This one's really authentic heritage brand. And there's also the whole ritual of going to the pub. I think Guinness is one where one of you might stop off on the pub on the way home just to have a pint yourselves before heading on home, or you can go with friends because it's a heavier drink. You tend to linger over it more, so this is how men bond. It's over a pint of Guinness. How many of you have been to the Storehouse down in Dublin? It's a brilliant experience. It's really good. Nearly 2 million visitors go to there a year. If you haven't been, it's definitely worth a visit. That means people are paying to spend time inside that brand. I mean, you can't buy that type of recognition. That's definitely built over time. And I know that some people say, oh, I know it's Christmas whenever the Coca-Cola advert's on TV and you can see the lorry going past, it's driven by Santa, you have that song. But what I really look out for is the Guinness Christmas advert. I love it. I love the sense of the tiny Irish village, people going home at night, seeing each other home, and then the snowflakes starting to form on the top of St James's Gate there. And one last brand to look at, Innocent Smoothies. Can anybody throw out some words about how they feel whenever they either purchase an Innocent smoothie or view their advertising? Is Innocent still a thing out there?
I think it's a good choice.
That is a good choice. Yeah?
Relatable.
It's relatable.
I used to buy them all the time because of their packaging, but then I learned how much sugar content was in them.
But it's natural sugars, naturally occurring ones. Well, Innocent has a really simple premise that it's really natural, healthy smoothies. However, there's plenty of natural, healthy smoothies out there, but this one is delivered with a really fun, honest, and very, very human persona. Both the packaging and the messaging clearly explain what's inside. It's usually about 6 ingredients. They're really healthy and it's things you would find in your own fridge. But what makes it different is that it's often delivered with really quirky, witty remarks. Like if you've ever turned one upside down, on the underside it might say, "Stop staring at my bottom," something like that. You can feel good, not just for buying it, but for also drinking it. The packaging sustainable and responsible. In Innocent's world, simple equals better, but it's really personality-led. And I don't know if everybody here is going to be old enough, but I am to remember these here, the Little Hats campaigns. That ran for 15 years, which I think is a bit of a record breaker for campaigns. They raised millions of pounds for Age UK, which you wouldn't really assume as being a demographic for Innocent Smoothies. When I think of those smoothies, I think of sort of Gen Z hipsters. But something about that really linked them up with Age UK. People started to really take on board these little hats. They wanted to knit their own. They wanted to come up with their own patterns. They started websites about where all you could put them. People were using them as little egg cozies. You'd go into Tesco's. People would put them in bananas, that type of thing. So what a campaign. It just never stopped. So I want everybody now to dig deep, think of a brand that you really genuinely love, and then just in one word, think about how that brand makes you feel. And then I might pick on a few people, like 5 of you. So think of a really good brand that you really, really love. To start it off, I'll say one that I really like is Maud's Ice Cream. I know that they do 300 flavours, but obviously the best one is Pure Bear, which I love, the honeycomb one, my favourite one. And the one word that I would associate with Maud's would be joy. Because it's fun, it's slightly retro, it's kind of nostalgic, it's joy first. It's not a serious premium brand like Häagen-Dazs where beautiful people are eating beautiful ice creams in stunning settings. This one has a really nice, strong Northern Ireland identity. They've created the Maud's world, but whenever you start to look closely into their graphics, they've picked out little bits of Northern Ireland in there. And so that's why the brand feels more like ours rather than a big sort of corporate conglomerate like Häagen-Dazs. So does anybody want to volunteer to say like just one brand and one word that it makes them feel?
I really like malts as well.
But which ice cream flavour?
Pooh Bear.
Pooh Bear. Pure Bear.
Copyrighted.
Yeah. Anybody else have a brand that they really genuinely love?
Volvo.
Oh, Volvo.
Safety.
Safety, yeah, that's what I associate with Volvo as well.
Nando's.
Which one, sorry?
Nando's. Nando's chicken.
Oh, okay. Very good.
Spiciness.
Oh, spiciness. There you go. Very good. Anyone else? Let's do two more.
Toyota.
Toyota?
Credibility.
Credible, yeah. The branding's working for all these companies. So notice that nobody here said, oh, it makes me feel efficient. It really made me think about cost effectiveness. Everybody said something very much more personal and human to them. So you might be thinking, well, listen, you know, this is the first branding talk, but I'm not a marketing team, so this has nothing to do with me. I'm not really interested. But actually, branding is absolutely everybody's job because every decision made across the business or in your own life is a brand signal, whether you like it or not. If you're a UX UI designer, you might be thinking about the tiny little corner radiuses on buttons. At the moment in version 1, we're hoping to launch a new website maybe around September time, and we've been looking at boxes and buttons. And I've been told that having a very slight 2 pix corner off every little box will make us look professional, but with a soft edge, but still in full control. Who knew? But if you work in comms and IT, maybe you'll be thinking about the error message that comes up. The error message you write tells people if you respect them. It's respectful because it's saying, I see what you were trying to do here. I'm sorry it didn't work, but I'm on this. Let me try and fix this for you. If you're a web designer or maybe any type of visual designer, the white space that you defend tells people that you think clearly. White space says, for a user, wow, this is really easy to understand. These people really know what they're doing. They haven't had to clutter it up with loads of information. But if you work in HR, maybe you're thinking about your onboarding. The onboarding that you design tells people if you expected them. My onboarding at version 1 was really good because it was so personalised and tailored especially to me. It wasn't just the usual giving me a pack of everything I need to know about version 1. They wanted to know a bit about me. They made me do quite an extensive personality test, which did stress me out quite a lot, I have to say, before I started. But that was so my boss could get to know me before I'd even started. That would tell her how I operated, what motivated me, how I preferred to get feedback, how to give me a brief. Also in the onboarding experience, they plant a tree for every new member that's onboarded. I think we're now up to something like 15,000 trees, and they even give you Google coordinates so you can go on and see if your tree has been a fruitful tree. And I haven't checked mine out in a while. Branding is something, you know it when you see it. If I look at the version 1 brand but strip away the logo, I would want everybody to still be able to instinctively know, oh, this is for version 1, even if the logo isn't on it. I want every piece of work to feel recognisably us before you see the logo, because that's what builds up trust. People will feel that before they read it. The version 1 brand is meant to be confident, professional, personable and focused. So in your own brand life, think about what you want to be and then try to plug everything back to those. That's why we chose Halyard font at the top there to be our title font. We wanted it to be like chunky, solid, immovable, because we wanted people to look at that and feel like version 1 was a durable, reliable company that they could depend on. The colour scheme that we chose, we went for a dark midnight navy over a black because we didn't want it to be stark and dark. We wanted it to be serious but with an element of warmth. We also try to keep 80% sort of white and putty in the background because we want to be clear, transparent, focused. But we really chose that zingy tech teal colour to be like a really bright colour of information information. All our icons are stripped back to be just one single line the whole way along, no little gaps. We took out any shading, we took out any gradients. We wanted those to be pared back and confident in themselves. If somebody says, well, like, why is version 1 different in the sea of other tech companies that are out there? One of the things we talk about is the strength and balance model, because we know that if one of those elements of the triangle is taken away, that the other two aren't working in harmony and something's fallen apart. We have a gym on site, that signals to our staff that we care about you, we care about your well-being. There's a cycle to work scheme, there's a bike maintenance bay. You can get sent on a course if you don't know how to maintain your bicycle. All that is saying we care about you. Whenever I was tasked with revamping the offices a little bit, I got in a local artist called Helena Rogan. I asked her to hand illustrate all local scenes from not just Belfast but the whole of Northern Ireland, because that's where our staff are from. I wanted staff to walk into the building and feel like I belong here, I'm welcomed in here, this is a space where I can relax. We do a lot of work in the community. There's Nikki standing outside a cancer focus shop there at the very bottom, because while we do want to transform businesses, we also want to transform through social value schemes the communities in which we all live. And whenever we run webinars, we want to use pictures of our actual staff. As much as possible, we want to be authentic, so we want to use less stock imagery and more imagery of our actual staff, our actual offices. So 3 things to take away from this talk, 3 questions you could ask yourself. Well, ask in any situation. Number 1, does this feel like us? Ask it on every piece of work and every decision. Number 2, find the gap. We all promise our customers, whether it's in your freelance business, your company business, your friends, anything, we make a lot of promises, and sometimes that experience falls a bit short. So find the gap in between those things and be the person that wants to fix that problem. Also be the person who names it. It doesn't matter if you're at the very top of the org chart, skirting along the bottom somewhere, anything in between, doesn't matter what department you're in. Probably even helps a bit if you're quite new into the business, because you can be the person with the fresh pair of eyes who says, this doesn't really feel right. Start the brand conversation. Because if you don't have those questions, the inconsistency is going to start to be a bit expensive. If you just compete on price instead of value, your margin disappears. Your sales cycles are going to start to get longer because customers won't trust what they can't really quickly recognise. And the talent you might want to attract might just choose to go and work somewhere else because, you know, somewhere else just feels that little bit better to them. So that was 3 things, but if I was going to give you just one thing to remember from this talk, just one sentence, it should be this: brand is the only thing that they can't copy from you. A competitor can match your product, they can probably undercut you in price, they can have a nosy at all your features and try copying those too. But they can't manufacture the feeling that you have spent years and years earning with your customers. So that's the one takeaway I'd like you to take from this. Brand is the one thing that they can't copy, and that's why it's so important. And that's me. Thanks so much. So we're hiring at the moment. You never know, there's some UX, UI jobs in there as well. I think there's maybe a couple of service designers.